Good day, my name is Chioma. I'm the head of HR for Zinox Group. Today, I'll be talking about getting your dream job and how best to get this than to have a good resume and also interview tips. Now, a lot of times when we graduate from school, the first thing we want to do is get a job in our ideal company. Or we could be working in a particular organization and we want to move from one organization to another as a result of career growth or progress. Or it could actually be as a result of geographical relocation. But either ways, we need to apply to a new job, to a company to get a job in the company. So today I'll be talking about CV writing, how best to put out our best CVs, and of course, interview tips to ensure that you get that dream job that you seek. Now, your CV as an individual speaks for you in your absence. The onus is on you to ensure that your CV is very articulate and it emphasizes and talks about your competence and your value that you're going to bring to the organization. A recruiter will typically go through thousands of CVs for a particular role. So you have to make sure that your CV stands out from the rest so that you are selected for the interview process. The first tip when you're writing your CV is to use a reverse chronological format. What this means is that you put your most recent experience, job experience that is, or educational qualification first. That way it highlights what you are presently doing and also highlights your best skills as it relates to the job. So for example, if you are working in a particular organization at a particular time, when you apply for a job, it's best to state what you're doing presently in that organization and then you now take it down to other places where you have worked in. That way the recruiter can see that, okay, probably what you're doing can actually be relatable to what you're trying to get the job or the job that you're trying to get. Now, aside from that, I would also suggest that your CV should be one page. I know we have a lot of experience to put into our CV. We want to put our best foot forward. We want to talk about all our experiences. But I would recommend that you make your CV one page so that it enables the recruiter to scan through it. Most times you just have about 6 seconds, to be honest, to scan through a CV. It will enable the recruiter to scan through it and pick out the keywords that they require for that job role. That's another tip. Make sure that your CV contains the keyword that is required for the job. Sometimes recruitment agencies would use software, and these softwares are skilled to ensure that those keywords are looked out for in CVs that they're scanning through. So if you have these keywords in your CV, it's easier for your CV to be selected because it shows that you're the right fit for that particular job. Another tip I'll give is that you should ensure that your CV is, whatever it is in your CV, aligns with the job that you're applying for. A lot of times we have people applying for several jobs and they use one CV. That's not right because different jobs have their specific or different requirements. So if you're going to apply for a job, for example, as a customer service representative, it will be totally different from you applying for a telesales marketing executive. So you ensure that you highlight the skills and competencies that are required for that specific job when you are writing out your CV. It makes the recruiter actually key into your CV and select it for the next process, which is the interview process. Now I'll give you tips on how to interview for your dream job. The first tip I'll give is that you should ensure you research about the organization. You go to their websites, you could physically visit the organization before your interview date, find out what the core values are, find out what the objectives are, find out what the company does, and of course align it with what you are going to bring to the company, because every recruiter is looking out for someone who can bring value to the organization. Now, aside from researching about your organization, I would also ask that, or I would rather suggest that you are, whatever it is you're going to talk about on your interview day, you ensure it aligns to the role that you're applying for. Sell yourself. I mean, if you're going to talk about, if you're going for a sales role, for example, don't just leave it at, I'm very good at sales, or use specific examples. With my last sales role, for example, I grew the sales target from so percentage to so percentage, and this is how I did it. Every recruiter wants someone who can bring value to their organization, and that's what they actually look out for when they're interviewing you. Another thing I would say is that you should be confident. We are all nervous sometimes. So when you're going for an interview, I would ask that you do some breathing exercises, do some stretch exercises before the interview. That makes you comfortable, and that would enable you put your best foot forward. Also, put a smile on your face. Even if it's a virtual interview or it's a physical interview, ensure you have a smile on your face. It makes you look relaxed and friendly. From the door, when you come into the place, to the organization, from the security guard to the receptionist, put a smile on your face. When you're talking to the interviewers, you put a smile on your face. It makes you look relaxed and it makes people connect with you better. And then another thing I would say is that be authentic. Don't lie. Don't try to fit yourself into a particular role. Be truthful and be authentic. If they ask you a question, for example, can you give us a situation where you were not able to complete a task at a particular time? Be truthful about it and say, oh yes, it's happened to me severally, or it's happened to me before. This is what I did to ensure that I completed this task. Now, the recruiter would take out a few things from you being truthful. First of all, they know that you have integrity. I mean, most companies want an employee with integrity. Secondly, they know that you're able to work well even though you're under pressure. So these are things that the recruiter would actually take back from you being truthful when they ask you questions. Another tip is that you should be prepared. Practice questions. There's some questions that every recruiter would, most times ask. For example, tell me about yourself. Practice these questions, practice your answers, make sure that you're very concise and you're very truthful. And try as much as possible to bring in things that will make you look more humane so that you can connect well with people that are interviewing you. So my last tip for today would be that after every interview session, send a thank you note to the interviewers. That way, it lets them know that you're appreciative of the fact that they took out time to listen to you. And also it gives you an opportunity to add more materials or send more materials as it relates to what you were interviewed for. So I wish you the very best as you go through your interview process. For more information, you can reach out to the number scrolling on the screen, or you can send an email to your email that is scrolling on your screen and I'll respond to you. Have a wonderful day.